We're live.
Woohoo!
Okay, welcome to the show, Aydan. Everybody, Aydan
Thank
Calafiore.
you very much for
Did I say your name right? Calafiore?
Calafiore. Calafiore. Yeah, I guess you take. It was close.
I'm just gonna leave.
I feel like Aydan's one of those characters in a cartoon where you always just see them online and you've never actually physically seen them, and then all of a sudden they're in your studio.
Welcome.
Because all we've ever known you from is Zoom
and
and social media.
Yeah, I'm real.
You are real. We did
going
your
on?
last single.
You did, yeah. You also did the next one. That's coming out.
Also did the next one that's coming out.
I
That's
wonder
right.
if AI will ever create actually like a full artist brand. Someone that you can see and looks real. Have you seen this stuff on TikTok?
I don't
Where
think
it's
so.
like, I told an AI to draw this and it draws like this really elaborate thing. Or I told
okay.
AI to make a song and then it literally will make a song. So I'm wondering if one day someone like Aydan could be created and just have an online presence and maybe the hologram thing on stage. I don't know.
But then we're gonna go into NFTs and that whole music thing. Let's not start.
It's just my
God.
insecurity of being replaced by a computer as a producer and songwriter.
I
Yeah.
think there's still always going to be a humanistic element. And that's kind of what this show's about, is finding the humanistic element in what we do, because we could just make another song, but what's the point of that?
What's the point of that?
That's right.
Well, there's not a lot of humanistic nature in music anymore. It's kind of gets taken out a little more and more. Like as the years kind of go on, it becomes more automated, more social-like, and less about the music, more about the
Content creation?
content creation. Exactly.
Yeah,
True.
well, that's why we love having genuine artists in the room like you. It's no, seriously. It is a real privilege though to be able to have somebody that has something to say.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know Aydan, very successful artist, actor, and songwriter from Australia.
Yeah.
He's with Universal over there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the whole week this week with you to basically flesh out an EP. We've already got one song, Consequences.
Well,
Great.
we've written a few songs. Like I honestly feel like I know you.
Yeah, which
a
is really
little bit.
weird
'Cause
sitting in this room.
We've been chatting for years.
Yeah.
And working together. And with COVID and everything else, I think here we finally are.
Here we finally are to make songs like
In the flesh.
in real life. Like
It just doesn't work. We just can't make a
Can't
song.
write a
We just
song?
make a terrible
it sounds
song.
horrible compared to the first.
We need to go back to Zoom. I need to get back home.
I'll Zoom you from my Airbnb.
Yeah.
Tomorrow if today doesn't work.
You know what? Fair enough. I may just be distracted by your stunningly attractive good looks all day.
Yeah.
That I can't get it done.
I might do it.
It really gets muted through the Zoom camera. So
Yeah, you were like a 4 on Zoom, and today you're like an 11. Like, what's
I
going
purposely
on?
use a bad camera.
I use a fuzzy camera just so I don't have to distract the artists that I work
It's
with.
crazy.
Usually I wear big sunglasses, just trying to hide.
Makes sense. No, but anyway, this is not your first time, or is your first time in LA?
It's not my first time in LA.
First time creating in LA?
First time like creating originals in LA. Yes, I've done like content here and that kind of thing, and I've performed here a few times, but I've never. Oh wait, no, I'm lying to you. I've definitely written here before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
First time we have a liar on,
this is the
on
first
the
time.
podcast.
Lies exposed.
Crazy. I did like 2 weeks in LA in 2019.
Okay.
Before
Right before the pandemic.
Yeah, it was maybe like 6 months before COVID. And yeah, so I did a few sessions then. So I completely just lied to you.
Oh, well, you know what?
What a
we
way to
just exposed you for who you really are.
What a way to start the in-person relationship we're building.
I know, right?
Lies.
Crazy. No, but anyway, we're so glad to have you here. I think we're going to make something fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But, let's dive into like what were the last 2 years like with COVID and everything. Australia took it quite a bit different than America. So I know briefly you had mentioned like you spent nearly a year in your room.
Yeah, well, Melbourne was, I think, still the most locked down city in the world. I don't think anything has taken over yet, but we spent like over 300 days over, with little breaks in the middle in lockdown,
Yeah.
which was like so rough seeing everyone else out, especially seeing like all my friends in Sydney. That was the hardest. Was obviously I got lots of mates over there through work and dancing, whatever. They were out so much more than we were, and they were literally felt like next door. So it was so weird being
Right.
like, why are we so locked down when we have like a tiny bit more cases? Why are we still not like being able to go out?
Yeah.
So it was rough, but my room's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I spent a lot of time in lockdown buying stuff online and setting up in my room like LED lights and posters and
Yeah, you got it.
tapestries and string lights. So my room like chews up so much electricity in my house, but it is just worth it because it looks really cool. I like to think.
Hey, I
Have
mean,
Have you ever seen my room
I think we've seen it in Zoom.
in Zoom? Right?
And I've seen you clean it up a few times on Instagram.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you had to like, you still go old school with the pornography. I saw the
well,
Playboy poster.
I mean, obviously, yeah. You push them under the bed and hope
Yeah.
that mum doesn't go cleaning for
you
like.
gotta go vintage.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I got a few of them up on the wall.
No, I didn't. I didn't see any
that
of
was
that.
a lie.
That was me lying. Now I'm the liar. What is going on here?
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Well, so when you recorded vocals, when we did that over Zoom, that's studio's in a different place, right?
Yeah.
that was during
yeah.
the pandemic.
That studio that was done in the pandemic, but that was when the restrictions were you were allowed to leave the house for work. So I got like I had to like apply to say I'm going to my like my team's house because
Wow.
they have a studio there, and then they were like, "Yep, all good." I was like, "Look, I'm gonna be in the car by myself. I'm gonna be in the studio with one other guy." Like,
Shout out Frank.
shout out Frank Dixon.
Yes. Yes. We miss you, Frank.
We all miss Frank.
So that you literally could get pulled over on the way.
Yeah,
And if you
and-
didn't have the
Yeah.
qualification, I guess, or the
You
acceptance
would be in
of
trouble.
it.
Well, especially because they live like 45 minutes from me, so it's like it's a ways. But you had to be within like I think you could legally be within like 5 k's of your house. At this point, you could be out for any reason, but it had to be within like 5 k's of your house or something
Okay.
like that. So yeah, but like 5 k's is so tiny.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
5 k's is nothing. I don't know what that would
3
equate to
miles.
in
You felt
Yeah,
very
like-
claustrophobic.
extremely like literally there's not a lot in the radius of your house. Like I think we had a convenience store and we had like a supermarket. We kind of had like our version, I guess, of like Ralph's or Whole Foods or something like and that was it, and a park. So
Well, yeah, it's not so dense like LA is.
no
or New York
like
or for
definitely
that.
not. Yeah, it was very suburban, so it was just houses.
Yeah.
One park, one supermarket, one convenience store. And like that was it for like
Do you have
a
any
very long
dogs or
time.
anything?
I do, yeah. I had during lockdown I had 2 dogs. One of my dogs passed away a few months back, so we'd been out. But so now I have 1 dog. She's a cavoodle and she's 1. So
She's a baby.
So you had
baby.
them?
We we got Honey the cavoodle it when lockdown started to ease. So we didn't have her during lockdown, I don't think. Well, not too much of lockdown.
yeah.
But Marley was 15. So she was like,
Any crazy shit happened to you during COVID, like during lockdown?
oh man, I feel like I shouldn't say that I like broke the restrictions and like drove outside of the 5Ks, but I did. No, I wouldn't leave the car, but I definitely did risk it a few times just to drive like out of my,
Yeah.
because like
You risked prison and jail
I
time.
literally risked like prison. That's what it felt like. It felt like risking. I was playing with life or death at that
I
point.
mean, that's how it felt when it first started here a little bit. Those first few days when all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's on TV and it's like, here's the lockdown, and your mind instantly goes to this is like, I Am Legend.
Yeah, like
we're all screwed.
World War Z or something like that. Like I was.
It was
like,
nuts.
Well, I guess I don't know who would have been on the TV for you guys. Maybe like the president or something saying something. But we had like the prime minister.
I think it was governors and stuff. When that
Yeah, okay.
first day, I
yeah,
remember
well,
it
it
was
was
kind of
Gavin
like
Newsom. Like,
LA is shutting down, and then it was like, oh my god, and then it spread like wildfire everywhere because it was
Yeah.
like the shutdowns. I feel like LA was one of the first,
yeah.
and it was kind of like, oh. And I remember the first time we went to the grocery store after that happened, we were like, you almost felt like you had to be in a hazmat suit because it
Yeah.
was so like only 5 people in the store at a time,
Yeah.
and you have to be this, and it was just kind of crazy. So
It was nuts, dude.
Well, and people panicked. We couldn't get toilet paper, dude.
No, toilet paper.
And
was
cleaning
gone.
products.
But it's
Gone.
like, that shows you if it all does get really nuts, like Contagion. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
The movie?
Yeah.
If it got that crazy where you have a high mortality
fucked.
rate from this,
That's exactly how it would be as
people
well. Like,
are going to go
nuts.
off. It's going to be, I don't know. We're going to go back to the
Martial
Stone
law.
Age.
yeah.
We're literally going to go back to the Stone Age. It's going to be like Walking Dead.
Yeah, the world would not be here if we had a 50%, like the way Ebola kills people. If we had a airborne
Worldwide,
disease
like,
that was worldwide that killed people on that rate,
Mm.
we would not be sitting here today. I'll tell you that much. We'd either be dead or we'd be, hiding up at Justin's secret land.
Yeah.
Well, I thought for a while I was going to be the Will Smith and all this. Not like slapping people, but avoiding the whole disease
Slapping me, that
and
just-
being
not slapping
and
people.
being the one person that isn't like susceptible, right? You have
Yeah.
some weird immunity, and I thought that was me the whole time until this,
Well, I
Coachella.
still think it's me.
Me too.
Like, right? Yeah.
I want to
Actually,
be in
no.
that boat
Yeah,
still,
can't touch.
except now when I have a grandchild or if I have grandkids or whatever, they can be like, oh, what was it like? What was COVID like? Right? Because there's going to be movies and documentaries and all this
Yeah.
shit. They're definitely going to learn about it.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be like, I had that shit.
Yeah, right.
I survived that shit. And you guys can be like, oh, we never got it.
never got
So
it.
I don't know. But I'm like the guy who's like, yep, I fought that shit.
Yep. I fought COVID tooth and nail. I almost died. Kids, I almost died. But
I'm just trying to make myself feel better about getting it
Yeah.
because I so wanted to be in that club. But I think given all the circumstance of everything, I would have 100% driven further away. Even if it was just to be like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's nice just to go drive around in Malibu in the mountains and be out just
Yeah.
away.
like, there was some rules that just made no sense. Like, even that 5 kilometer rule is like, I could drive and go to Coles and get out, but I couldn't drive to McDonald's because it was out of the 5Ks. But it's like, so I'm not leaving the car. I would go through the drive-thru with my mask on and
Right.
order the food from the machine and grab the food from the worker and then leave. Like, what?
Very
Why?
claustrophobic, which is kind of a cool song title. Side note, I'm just
Side
gonna
note,
point that out.
claustrophobic.
Well, and we already have one on the EP that's consequences. So just like if sticking with the C theme,
Consequences,
maybe claustrophobic could be a thing. Just throwing that out there. I think we got to dive a little deeper, but it could be a song. Just
I mean, did you know people that literally got caught doing this? Or was it just kind of like this a threat and then it was just kind of like people?
It was definitely a threat. I mean, at one point they put in a curfew.
Yeah.
We couldn't leave the house between, I think it was a 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. We couldn't go out. Like, if you were on the road and you didn't have a reason, you weren't like a tradie or something that had to be
Sure.
at work by 4 a.m., then you would get a fine. And the fines were steep. So I didn't know anyone that got caught, but it was still lingering there. Like, if I was driving and I was, maybe 15 Ks away from home and there was a cop behind me who decided to pull me over for whatever,
Yeah.
looked at my license and was like, what are you doing all the way out here? I could and the fines were steep to try and scare people away from. There was a story the first few weeks of COVID of a mum. A mum and a daughter were out driving on her L's. So just to get some hours in, they were just driving. They were driving up the freeway. They drove back down the freeway.
Sure.
Weren't leaving the car. Got pulled over by a cop, and they were out. Or there wasn't a radius at this point. You just couldn't be outside of the house for no reason. You had to have a reason, and their reason was driving around. And the cop was like, "This isn't valid. You shouldn't be outside. You should be isolated. You should be." And she was like, "But we are. We're just in the car.
Right.
We're not going anywhere. We're just trying to get the hours up and then we'll drive back home." And they ended up getting the fine and they fought it in court. And I'm pretty sure she won. And so she didn't have to pay the fine. But the fine was 10 grand or something like that. It was so steep. And that story went all over Australia because everyone was like, holy shit.
Wow.
Just driving on your hours and you could get fined 10 grand.
It was almost made to be an example.
Well, it was. But then post that, I didn't know anyone personally that got caught. They might have gotten pulled over, but they didn't get done. So
gotcha.
Damn.
Have you ever had any run-ins with the law in your life?
yeah. Well, I mean, not like bad. I get pulled over a lot in in Melbourne because because the car that I drive was my nonno's car, and it's a V6, so like it's an expensive car. I think my nonno bought it for like $50,000 or $60,000 in Australian dollars. So it was expensive. He was retiring. He just wanted to buy. Yeah. He was like it's not a sports car. He used to call it a sports car, but it's fast and expensive. So I used to get pulled over a lot on my red peas and on my green peas as well. You guys have this here?
No.
Oh, okay.
We only know green peas. They're usually in salads and things like that.
Okay, so it's like probationary driver. Like there's restrictions that you have as a driver, and when you're so you have your L's. Then when you graduate your L's and you can drive by yourself, you go on your red peas, and that means that you put like a red P plate up, and you can only drive like with one person in the car that's between 18 and 22 or something like
so
that.
A restricted license.
There are some. We have that.
It's like
we
a
have restricted license. I've just never heard of it as L's.
No, right.
Like a P plate.
But it's like at 21 you get more shit than you did at 18 or 16.
Yeah.
Or 16, 18.
16, 18, and then obviously you can drink at 21, but you shouldn't drink and drive, people.
No, definitely not. Well, in Australia, you can't have any alcohol in your system until you get off your green peas, which is your second probation, which which loosens the reins a little bit, but you still have to have zero. So I'm still on my green peas at the moment. I don't get off them until like the end of next year.
How old are you now?
I'm 21, but I got my license a year late.
Okay.
So I should have been off them at the end of this year, but I got my license a year late. So
got it. Because what's the drinking age there again?
18.
That's right.
Did you get off? Are you a year late because of Jagged Little Pill?
I'm not, but that was a great segue. I was a year late actually because of The Voice, because I was on The Voice in 2018. Yeah, 2018, which is the year that I should have gone for my license, my P's, but I didn't go for it because I spent most of that year in Sydney. So then I didn't go to it till the end of that year.
Yeah, and so what happened to Jagged Little Pill? How'd that come to be?
Let's leave it back there. Jagged was great. I was in a musical before Jagged called Fangirls in Australia, and I got that because of The Voice, and then got Jagged because of that, because someone had come to see Fangirls because it was quite popular, and they liked my character and they were looking for someone to play this certain character in Jagged, and came to me and was like, would you be interested in auditioning? And it was on Zoom because while I was auditioning it was through COVID. So I auditioned and I read the piece, and I wasn't really into musical theatre growing up. Like, I'm probably still not really into musicals. Like, I don't not like them. It was never my thing.
Yep.
But Jagged Little Pill was obviously written around the Alanis Morissette album, and even some songs that aren't on the album. So it's not like a da 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 kind of thing. It was like, obviously every song on there is from the album or one of her other big hits. So it was very rock and roll. So it kind of appealed to me, and I went for it, and ended up getting it. They were like, it's yours if you want it, and kind of went back and forth. Was like, do I do it? It's 6 months. It's a long time. Like whatever, 6 months being away from home. I ended up taking it, and it was so much fun. Like, it was great, and I got to sing some good songs.
Did you meet anybody?
Unfortunately, no. I met a lot of people, but not like that. The group of people were actually like incredible, and I met some people there that I'll be like friends with for a very long time.
But not forever.
Nah, probably not forever. Yeah. I'm probably gonna live till like 40.
What? What makes you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna live till like 40.
You going that hard? Like, live fast, die young, but
Live fast, die young.
God damn! What are you doing in your spare time then to to make that happen? You must have some crazy shit going on.
I'm not eating my vegetables and that kind of thing. I spend too much time.
So you clearly have a second life we don't know about that has nothing to do with music. It has nothing to do with anything legal.
Nothing to do with anything legal of the sort.
So you're not in LA for music. You're here for something else. Are you a hitman?
I'm here for the scene.
Are you a spy? You're an Australian spy.
I'm an Australian spy.
We figured it out. That's what it is.
And I've come here.
And
what do we have to offer you?
And so that's what it is. You expire at 40.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so specific.
That's why when you were talking about AI, I started like
Okay.
Always,
Oh, you have you got AI in you too.
Change the subject. Well,
It's all making sense.
Have you always felt like you die at 40?
I don't know. I feel like something's gonna happen in the world. Maybe not necessarily me, but I feel like something's gonna happen. Like, and I don't know if, like, yeah, I don't know. I just have this weird feeling.
You feel like we're all gonna die at 40?
Maybe. Well, maybe when I get to 40 is when like something will happen. I feel like this is just like, I don't know. I feel like we've had it too easy.
There's too much chaos going on.
I feel like there's too much chaos.
Like World War?
Yeah. Like,
don't you feel like kind of nice, all tucked down way over there on the planet?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like Australia is kind of like away from all that. And even, it's not, but I feel like it kind of is. We're kind of on our own little island party in the middle of nowhere, not like attached to anyone. No, like,
right.
It's kind of hard to invade because you'd see them coming because you have to cross like.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily be collateral damage. Like,
well, exactly.
Oh, it accidentally went over the border. It's
it's like, well, no, it didn't.
Well, I'll say my favorite quote from Albert Einstein. And then I'm going to fact check myself, but I'm pretty sure.
Didn't you say this on another podcast too?
I don't know,
but I want to hear it.
But he said, "I do not know with what World War III will be fought. But World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones."
Yeah. Because World War III is going to be so crazy.
Yeah.
And like, who knows when that's going to happen? And I just have a feeling that shit is building up. And I reckon, well, what am I, 21? So maybe like 20 years. I have a feeling in the next 20 years something's going to happen. Like,
so are you looking to get married?
Yeah. I'm a big like sucker for the whole romantics. Like, I'm really excited to. I'm not in a rush, but I'm excited to kind of like start that phase.
Well, you're
of my
21.
Life. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like in a rush to get there, but I'm excited.
Have you been in a relationship?
Yeah, I've had a few relationships.
Did they end in heartbreak?
A few of them did. I've had like 3, I guess, relationships. But I've only had one girlfriend, weirdly enough. So it didn't get to girlfriend stage, but it was just because it was taken very slowly, and like public eye is sometimes difficult, like to be public.
Oh yeah, as a celebrity.
Well, like on
nobody's looking at my life being like,
who's he dating?
Right. I don't even think my mom cares that much. No, my mom's awesome. She definitely does care.
We love you, Mom.
We love you, Mama Z. People do look at your life.
Yeah, so it's difficult to sometimes be public with a relationship because like, I mean, I guess it's a little bit for the business side of things, but then it's also for like the private side of things. Like, normal people don't have to worry. Not that I'm not normal, you know what I mean? Like, I'm hardly like.
Aydan's not normal.
Yeah, I'm not normal in a lot of ways, but
we're figuring this out.
Yeah, I'm hardly like, A-list or anything like that. But like, there's hints of it where like people do kind of.
People know you. I mean, you've been in popular stuff. You have songs playing on the radio.
Yeah, so there's some element of that there, and. Yeah, people definitely look to my life, and I always get that question. They're like, "Are you seeing anyone? Are you dating? Who are you dating?" Like, there's kind of a lot of pressure on that, and like, it's almost unfair to also do that to like the lady that I would be seeing. It's kind of hard to just throw that at them, especially if they're just like a normal girl. There's a Disney movie I used to like, and that's how the conflict starts. And he's like, "Because I'm Christopher Wilde, and you're just an ordinary girl." Sidetrack, but anyway, that like if they're not someone that's also in the scene, it can be a lot to just kind of throw that at them, and then like they've got like fans following them and like death threats.
Have you received any?
Oh yeah, heaps. Yeah,
really,
heaps. I get like random DMs all the time that are just like, well, like a lot of them are death threats, but then some of them are just kind of will be like someone that you can tell English isn't their first language, and it will just be something that reads along the lines of like, "Fuck you, fuck," or like, "Fuck you, bitch." Or something. Like, I'll just get a DM replying to my story, and I'll just be like, a selfie or something, or like a video of something.
Why do people always have to bring other people down and make people
like
feel lesser than?
It's because I guess they see me like, not even see me succeeding. It's like they see me trying. That's what I've found a big thing in like every.
It's people that are afraid to try.
Exactly.
I honestly think a lot of it's jealousy. I have not seen the amount of this. We've had people in the studio that come in and talk about it, but I have not seen it firsthand until Morgan started her show.
Yeah.
The amount of just unnecessary mean, it's not even mean, it's beyond mean. It's like almost like
it's treating somebody lesser than a human.
It's almost like verbal abuse to the point where
Definitely.
it's like, and she just got to the point where she starts to just call them out.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm just going to put my foot down because that's what a lot of big creators do.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, I'm not going to stand up for this. And people actually respect the fact that you kind of put your foot down and say, like,
100%.
no one's telling you to watch this, so fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need you here.
The days of ignoring hate, I think, should be so far gone, because I think ignoring the problem is, it's like in anything. It's like seeing, like, you know, a racist act or a sexist act or something and then ignoring it. It's like, it's not going to make it go away. It's like you call it out, and then hopefully the person that has, like, done the wrong thing, it's 10 times worse to get called out on something you've done wrong than for someone to, like, know about it and ignore it, because you kind of get away with it. I don't ignore hate when I ignore a lot of it, obviously, because I'm not going to give breath to everything.
Right.
But
right.
like, there's a lot of times where I'll just be like, I'll get a random comment from some dude that's like 16 in high school and, like, you know, is feeling like all the things that I would have felt at like 16, and like the pressures of being a young person, a young guy, whatever. And I'll always answer with something that's like, you obviously have some insecurities of yourself, buddy. Like, you know, I'm here, I'm being successful. I'm doing what I love. Like, I'm working at it every day. You know, I'm growing every day, and, like, hopefully you can take something from that, and don't spread it. And then sometimes I'll be really petty and be like, fuck off. Like, get out
I know
of here.
we're already giving these people too much time.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And thought.
Well, I guess I have one more question on the death threat thing, because it could be, you know, part of, like, the idea I was saying before, like the claustrophobic. Has it ever felt really real?
Yeah, all the time. Even still, like, now, I have, like, some of the thickest skin, like, ever. Like, I've been, like, I'm still young. I'm still 21, but I think, like, October last year was 10 years since my first professional gig on, like, TV. So I was 11 when I had my first pro gig, where I was, like, on TV for 6 months on Young Talent Time, which was a really popular show in Australia. Like, back, you know, maybe in the 70s or something. And so I've been getting, like, you know, death threats and hate for, like, 10 years consistently, which is like, when you say it like that, it's like consistently, you know, every few days, every day, whatever it is. I don't look every day, but I see it consistently for 10 years. And I was like 11, wasn't really understanding it, got to like 14, 15, started understanding it, and was like going through my own insecurities. And then, like, it hits you really hard, but then you come out the other side of that. You get to like 18, you're old enough, and now and you kind of get
19.
You get to 19. But yeah, it's definitely and sometimes it still feels like it's too much or like a lot. And I'm like 21 and I'm completely fine with it and content. And like,
do you ever break down? Just like, it's too much?
Yeah, 100%. I like.
What does that feel like? Just diving into an emotional aspect, just because I also want to start picking apart some little things we can use for the song. What does that feel like?
Like, it's rough. I mean, you kind of start to question your self-worth, or your, like, just, I guess, yourself in general. So yeah, it is really rough, and it's like rough patches that you go through. Usually for me, it's at night, you know, it might be like midnight or something, and then you start thinking, like, everyone goes through it. You don't have to be a celebrity and be getting hate to have like a rough night where you start thinking about everything, and you're like, damn, maybe I'm not going anywhere, maybe I'm not moving the way I want to be moving, like nothing's happening, whatever. Like, it happens to everyone. But yeah, it's rough when you start to question, like,
the value of your life,
the value of yourself, the value of your craft and what you love to do. Like, that's the worst thing, is when you love it and you're doing it and you think you're doing really well, and then someone comes along and, like, shits on that.
I totally get that. I mean, there are days where I wake up and I'm like, will I ever be happy if I'm always chasing this, like, level of success? But what is that level of success?
Exactly.
It's like, then I have to check myself. It's like, I get to make music for a living. I get to do my hobbies, you know. I get to see the world from the sky when I want to, and it's like, it's, you know, a privilege that I'm sure some people would kill for. And then I see people that are, you know, way more successive than we are in the music industry, but, you know, we don't know if they're really happy.
Oh, I mean, definitely.
Well, I think
I would
another
like a piece of that pie, though. I would like to be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think in the music industry, with success comes more people hearing what you do. And that's what I care about the most.
That's like the organic happiness.
Right. It's the message that we're trying to curate something in this room for the people that feel what you feel. You know, for you, it might have been in those moments with the death threats and with, you know, the claustrophobia of the pandemic, but everybody's felt that, like you said, in one way or another. And that's what we're trying to get at in this room.
All right. Well, sorry you had to stare at a logo for a few minutes, but we back. So the thought was, one of the hardest things I've gone through emotionally is this one major breakup. And I feel like I clung to music in that time of, I don't know, recovery, just trying to emotionally build back up to be normal again. I feel like I clung to music. So I think music is such a huge influential piece of that for everyone, even if it's something simple. Even if you're just in a bad mood one day, a song can be a huge reality check.
Yeah.
And it can reset you, or it can help people through things.
Or it can just lead to a good cry.
And so
there's
I
nothing
think,
wrong with that.
Right. So I think it's important to write about things you've experienced like that and those deep feelings, because
Seed of truth.
Because though, yes, it may bring up harsh feelings for some people, I think people that are going through it and realize that they're not alone, and someone like Aydan, who you wouldn't think would have these same problems as, me just doing my whatever my day-to-day is, I think it's very powerful. And I think music's an amazing tool for that. And I think as an artist, it's very cool to be able to provide that for someone.
Definitely.
So I just wanted to segue from kind of writing from that place of emotion.
Yeah, and that's Seed of Truth.
Seed of Truth.
But
that's what I believe. Every song starts with the Seed of Truth.
Back to the relationship.
It should. Every song should.
Back to the relationship stuff. I was just curious from your perspective, because we kind of hit it a little bit. As you grow as an artist, and as we write a song that just, takes you even to the next stratosphere.
Yeah.
Are you worried about meeting someone, since you are looking for marriage, you are very romantic.
Yeah.
Are you worried about meeting someone organically, or meeting someone that, I don't know if real is the right word, but just meeting someone in the same way that you could in day-to-day life if you weren't an artist, and having a relationship of the same quality? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, being that you're the level of success you are, you're actively sought out by people.
Yeah, so
and you want to make sure that you're finding a person with the right intention, with the right reasons.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. Like, I don't just kind of, I can't just go to a club on a Saturday night and meet a girl, because it's hard. A lot of the time, I'll end up mentioning, if I'm talking to someone, I'll end up mentioning like, oh well, yeah, I'm a musician. Like I sing. And they're like, oh, what do you do?
Right.
I might end up blurting it out and be like, oh, a few years ago, like I was on The Voice, this, that, whatever. And like almost every time they'll be like, oh my God, I know you. Oh, the way let me get my friends. I think
Yeah.
And then it becomes this thing. And then it's like, oh, well, I just went from having this conversation with this person that was like just a conversation. Now it's like, she may not even pursue me like romantically, or even as a friend. She'll pursue me.
She puts you on some pedestal that isn't real.
She'll pursue me just for the fact of like, it's cool. Like, it's cool to know that guy or
right.
whatever. So like it is hard to know if people are genuine or not. And if you ever have anything to offer someone, you're in the same boat. I have a lot of friends that run clubs or run club nights or whatever, and
Sure.
I talk to them a lot about it, because I feel like they're one like person or people that I've found that really relate almost exactly to the same way. Like when I was popping off on The Voice, like everyone comes out of the woodwork and it's kind of like, oh my God, congrats. Hey, we should catch up when you come back. And it's like, well, yeah, of course you want to catch up. I've just, I've gone up like 20,000 followers in a week, and
Right.
and what happened to when I was trying to get a session with you the whole time?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was, we were old mates 6 months ago when I wasn't on The Voice, and I had barely any followers, and I was just grinding at music. And then I had this kind of little bit of success, and everybody's posting me saying like, oh, my old friend Aydan. And I'm like, well, like, oh, then you'll post it and then reach out and be like, oh yeah, I knew him. We were this, we were that. And it's like, man, like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
It's crazy.
You now want to be like, I was his mate or whatever. So I talk to these friends about it, and they're the same, where people are always like, oh, do you remember me? Like my my cousin knew your sister, and we met at that thing last time. Do you think you can get me and my mates in for free tonight? And they're all just like, no. Like, imagine, and they say to me, so many people are like every Saturday night, every Friday night, every Thursday night, like 100 DMs that are all from people that they don't even know, that are like, hey, I met you at that thing that one time, like with my sister, and she was with her boyfriend, and he knew do you think me and my 10 mates can get in tonight? Or can we skip the line? Like, and I talk to him, and he says the same thing, and they're like, yeah, it's so hard to know if someone wants to be my friend, or if they want to be my friend to, skip the line every Saturday night. And it's that is like quite hard and quite scary. Like, I've met I've met a lot of genuine girls and people that didn't, just want to chase me for clout, or for success or for money or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've met a lot of, people that have reached out and I've chatted to, and then you find out that they're just kind of interested in like
the lifestyle. Yeah,
the lifestyle and the posting you when when we're together. Like, I'm not like huge, but like, I have like some connections with some people that can, make some aspects of life like a little bit easier. You know what I mean? And people chase that like crazy, just not even to experience it for themselves, just to like show other. That's what's crazy. They don't
show other people.
They don't want to like get go to a really fancy restaurant and just be able to sit at a table because you know the guy. They want to show people
to enjoy the food.
Oh no, not it. They want to do it so they can show people that they've just walked into this fancy restaurant, or that they skipped the line at this at the most popular club, or that they've done all this stuff. Like, they don't even want to experience it. They want to show people that they experience it, which is what is like wild to me. Like,
yeah, there's been studies that like the more you have your phone out to take photos and videos, the less you actually remember the events.
I think we've all felt that pressure though. When you're going to something cool, you're going to some cool place on vacation or anything, even if it's just a fancy restaurant or something, we all have that feeling of, I need to capture this and put it out. And that,
which is so annoying.
It honestly is like a little stressor too. Like, sometimes it can get bad to where you're like, until I get the photo, that's all you can think about. And then once you get the photo, then all of a sudden
you can relax.
You're like, okay, cool. Now I can actually like enjoy it.
Dude, I have that stressor in me right now. I'm in LA, and
if you're not posting that you're in a session with Park Wild.
Yeah. Like, I'm honestly surprised that I haven't yet. That I haven't taken a video of this setup. Because, like, it's just, I guess it might be different for people that aren't musicians or in the industry. Or,
well, you're in the business of content creation, but there are so many people that just live their lives
through their phone.
Like, how many people go to a freaking concert and are looking, the person's 20 feet away, but they're looking at their cell phone,
but
watching the person on a little screen.
I know, there's an element to wanting to save that, and I also understand that too. If you
maybe for like 20 seconds, but people do it the whole show.
It's a sweet spot, I think, and it's always been a sweet spot of like,
everything's
balance. I have old vacation home videos and photos that my parents took, but it's like they didn't live like
that
this,
was
and they
for
didn't
them.
Like they didn't take photos of
other people
of the burger on the plate, and then pan up and pan like it was like at the pool they'd pull out the camcorder for like 5 minutes and like
to see you as
just
a kid.
film and like film me.
It's a fine line.
It's a very fine line, and then put it away and.
Because even I think back to our trip in Australia, we don't really have that many pictures of anything. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like,
but we had such a good freaking time.
I know, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd love to look back and remember like that dinner we had, because I think it's a fine line.
Yeah.
I don't think there's right or wrong, but I just think when you start to,
I remember the casino though.
Oh, I know. It's just tough to. It's tough to, like, when you start feeling those pressures. I think that's when it's like, okay, I'm obviously not capturing this to remember it. And I feel like that can take away from an experience. Yeah. But also, too, I'm going to want to document that experience. Yeah. Like, even things about New York, like, I wish I had more. You never take pictures for the place you live, really. Yeah. You never do. And I'm like, I wish I remember what it was like to walk into that apartment, because that was such an awesome time. But I don't really have stuff of that. And so,
dude, I can close my eyes right now and visualize that
I can too, but
exactly.
it's different when you see it in front of you.
I guess that's true.
It's different than the memory, and you're like,
do you remember the little cockroach hotels?
Oh, yeah. Once they check in, they never check out.
That's right. I just remember we had them all over that fucking apartment.
Is that like the little crack in the bottom of the wall and they...
No, so it's like this little box and it's just filled with sticky stuff and you put it around and they're like attracted to it. I mean, New York is known for cockroaches.
Yeah.
And Carl. But
we had a pet like mouse that would chill, and my roommate Jake would literally leave out a piece of cheese for him in the kitchen and we'd go sit like in the living room type area and we would just hang, and all of a sudden you'd see him run along the counter and go get it, and then he'd go back to his thing. Eventually we had to plug the hole because Carl was causing some problems.
Carl was pooping a lot.
But yeah, Carl was definitely...
But we didn't kill Carl.
No, I would have felt very bad to see Carl dead because Carl was a homie.
Yeah, of course. He wasn't a pest. He was like...
Yeah, take out the S. He's a pet. A little bit.
A little bit.
So I think like...
He was just untrained and it was difficult to train him, so you just had to let him go. He
was a little unruly. He had his cons for sure.
Just a bit like a girlfriend that it just wasn't working out. She was shitting everywhere, and you gotta let her go. Like,
similar, yeah. Definitely
yeah.
similar.
You leave out cheese, she comes out, but at the end you just gotta let her go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely the comparison.
We've all been there once or twice. Like just me? It's cool.
What? Oh, that was great.
Anyways,
So before we write this song, like, are we feeling the claustrophobic concept? Like, I feel like maybe the word isn't exactly claustrophobic, but I feel like that concept.
Yeah.
It's, obviously Bieber did it super specific to his life with Lonely.
Yeah.
But I think if we can make it more relatable about how life can sometimes get claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Based on your experience and ours, I think we can come up with something really cool that people can connect with and relate to.
And you can tie into that whole like always needing to like capturing stuff through the phone instead of through my eyes these days, like, because of the pressures and all this stuff, like,
and how we're so lonely because we're so focused on what everybody else thinks that we're not doing things for ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the beauty of this week is we actually have 3 days in a row with Aydan.
We're making an EP.
So we're gonna be able to explore a lot of different things, even from this conversation that aren't necessarily just that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's so fun when you have multiple days, because then you're not just riding on one song, and it's more like you can dive into
the hit though. I'm not worried.
I know, but you can dive into more worlds. You can create more of a vision.
Yeah.
You can create more of a story through multiple songs than just one. So I'm really excited.
Hell yeah. Well, Aydan, thank you very much for being on one of our episodes.
Thank you for having me.
Cracking the copyright.
That's right.
Cracking
we
the
got
copyright.
the name.
It's like cracking the code,
Cracking the code, cracking the copyright.
Yeah.
But
can you guys
maybe sometime we can actually talk about copyright law and the consent decrees, but I feel like that would probably get pretty boring for most people. So let's just write a song.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
What were we going to say?
Can you guys do Australian accents?
I can.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm like can you?
I feel like I have this bad habit when anything bad happens. Like if you were to kick the candle on the floor, I'd be like, "Oh no!"
How about I do a New Zealand accent instead?
That works. Yeah.
You want a chip, Brie? No, I only eat plankton.
Plankton. Why a plankton?
Wait, what's that one show? Jonah
from Tonga.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Chris.
Jonah from Tonga.
That's actually not bad.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. Wow. Because
it's not bad, right?
No, it's definitely not bad.
I honestly would say your accent is less strong.
Yeah.
Like, I guess calling it strong would mean less different than an American accent than
Let's say
British
Sam's
is.
dad in Australia. Hey, boys!
G'day, mate. How are ya?
I don't know.
Not
It's
bad,
just-
not bad.
That's different. I'm talking about
Just your average Australian accent.
just like, yeah.
Yeah,
And-
look, I mean, a lot of Australians feel like we're like the unpolished version of how British people talk. Like when you hear like Tom Holland talk and he's like, "Oh, hello, yes, I feel
It
like
just
that."
feels so proper.
Yeah, like it's very polished, and then Australian kind of feels like that, but less prim and proper. Like it feels like very like, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't say a lot of words, like we're like, Oh yeah, here you go. Yeah, no, good. No, it's all right. Well, no, don't worry. Like you wouldn't even say nah, don't worry about it. I'd just be like, nah, don't worry. Nah, don't worry, get it later. Like, so it just feels very unpolished and like leans more towards like Steve Irwin than being like a nice like.
So when I'm playing a part while we're writing, and I'm like, hey, do you like this? No,
don't worry.
No.
Can you change the chords to what? Nah, don't worry. Like, nah, don't worry. Don't worry about it. Nah, don't worry.
Well, shit. All right. Well, let's get to writing while we're at it.
Let's get to writing. Let's write cracky.
Let's go.
Cool. Good job.
You want to say bye?
Goodbye.
Bye. Do you want to say bye?
All right. We can.
I could say bye.
We can do a little outro.
This is where we transition to writing the song.
Yes, sir.
Let's
The
go
fun
cry
part.
in private.
You're all gonna miss the fun part, so bug this guy to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aydan, what's your Instagram?
Aydan_music.
AYDAN, everybody. Cool.
Yes.
Easy enough.
That's the one. Easy enough.
Catch y'all later.
Bye.
Peace.